Hi there world, my name is Drippen and welcome to my channel where we're Drippen Entertainment for your viewing pleasure. Now this channel is going to cover a lot of different topics that interest me specifically, everything from ranging from science, which we're going to cover today, to cannabis, which is something I'm very passionate about, and then later on, hopefully once I get a rig set up, I intend to do some gaming videos as well. But for this episode, I kind of wanted to break in, get real deep, real fast, and do something serious like disproving the non-existence of a higher power through science. But I figured that might have been a little too deep, a little too fast for the audience, so I decided to tone it back a bit and just cover the general topic of science, how it's defined in the Oxford Dictionary. I'm going to go ahead and provide that, as well as what it means to me as a scientist and has been passed down to me by my fellow scientists. I'm going to cover very briefly, the most important step of the scientific method in my eyes, as well as, the meaning of statistical significance and its implications in both mathematics and science. And then at the end, I'm going to cover just the general overall topics that it applies to. I know there's a lot of videos out there that already generally cover science and different applications of it, so this is just going to be to start off. The definition of science as provided by the Oxford Dictionary is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Wow, that is a mouthful. And in layman's terms, what that boils down to is really just seeing, testing, and then building up what you see and what you test to overall develop conclusions about what you have around you, about the physical world, about the material world, about what worlds we can't see even. There are obviously things that we can't see with the naked eye, that we need special tools and special devices that are scientific apparatuses to identify those new items and those new subatomic particles. Sometimes it's planets, we use telescopes in the sky, but we'll cover instruments at a later point in time. As it's defined, as it's been passed down to me and defined by other scientists, is the art of disproving. And what I mean by that is when you go into any scientific or learning endeavor, you do not want to seek to confirm a belief that you have. You seek to test the beliefs that you have, as well as the beliefs of the structures within which you're operating. And the way that you do that is by conducting those studies, doing those observations, having those tests, those experiments, in which you develop new insights about the world around you. And we do this through the scientific method, which is a series of steps. You got the hypothesis, you've got your procedure, setup, materials, safety, all the different things that you need to acknowledge before you go into your experiment. Then you go into the actual execution of the experiment, and at the end you're going to develop results, have graphs and charts, and have an overall conclusion that you derive from those results. And the most important step of the scientific method is hypothesis. And the reason I say this goes back to what I was saying about the art of disproving. If you've got a hypothesis that simply aims to confirm a belief that you or the structures within which you're operating has already, then that's called a confirmation bias. And basically what that does is that eliminates all validity of your study and your experiment, basically just saying that you're looking to boon your own interest. And that's not what science is there to do. That's literally not what science is there to do. Science is there to disprove everything that was once held true. Anything other than that is not truly science. And we do this by finding statistical significances in data and different quantitative and qualitative data. We may go into the different types of data at a later point in time. And so the definition of statistical significance in mathematics is that it's a measure of the probability that an outcome or a set of data is completely caused by chance. Basically, it determines or helps us determine the correlation between that set of data and trends within the overall population of. When we go into the applications of these significances, these correlations, we find that, in very opaque sort of environments like manufacturing, social welfare, forensics, different forms of regulation, and a lot of the finance industry, these areas have mostly opaque scientific methods where the viewer, the consumer, is never going to see the procedure, they're never going to see the author, they're never going to even see the results of the tests or study even. But what the companies are looking for, what the bodies are looking for, is different percentages that may indicate, a machine is going slightly off tilt or needs to be adjusted. It may indicate that, the methods, the programs that are doing auto trading need to be, just slightly altered to fix any errors that may be coming up or any lost revenues that may be found. And when you move out of that mostly opaque environment where they're keeping a lot of their science away from the population, you go into like a semi-transparent environment. This is a lot of the more peripheral regulatory bodies that are like federal agencies, national study groups, and different commissions hired by Congress and stuff like that, as well as in sociology and different areas of academia. These are things where you may end up seeing the end result. You may end up seeing, just a little bit of what their efficacies were, how they went about it, whether they were doing it ethically, morally, their standards and the procedures. But generally speaking, you might not actually get to acknowledge a specific author. It may be just overall an umbrella organization publishing this. It may be a commission, as I said, so it may be under the title of the commissioner. This is something where the people contributing to it are generally not provided the overall acknowledgement that not necessarily that they deserve, but it's also a manner of protecting a lot of these researchers where there may be other interests involved who could take action to harm them. The most transparent of the science fields is those that we see on a daily basis. It's those ones that are the food industry, the medical industry, pharmaceutical industry, over the counter and behind the counter, everything that you've got in your aisles at the drugstore, pretty much all that stuff is mostly transparent. They've got ingredients labels. They've got different things to make you aware about whether they're GMO or not, whether they've got certain gluten products in it or not. And they do this to get confidence in the consumer, to build that confidence and develop a relationship so that the consumer can rely upon these institutions that are putting these products out there, whether they're businesses, whether they're pharmaceutical companies backed by the government, whatever the case is. A lot of these companies want to make sure that they're building as much rapport with their customers as possible when they put these products out there. And how this applies to you and me overall, science is innately, we're all scientists. And whether we decide to learn from what we observe and experiment with, or whether we discard those observations, whether we discard those learning opportunities, determines just exactly how good we are at our craft as scientists. I encourage you all to go out and see what types of experiments and observations you can conduct and learn from. And if you find something interesting, take the time to experiment with it further, confirm what you've done, and make sure that you're always testing to disprove any beliefs that you may have about what you're experiencing. That's the most exciting part about it. You never know what you'll discover. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you had a good time. If you liked what you saw, what you heard, you want to start a discussion, please like, comment, subscribe. And I will be sure to come out with the next topic as soon as possible. I'm hoping to do at least one of these a day, and we'll see where we end up at the end of a year or so. All right, talk to you guys later.